think sometimes I have to admit people, sometimes I don't. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. There's Jonah.
Top of the evening to ya.
How are you now? Long time no see, Jonah. Thank you.
Welcome. Did you see the Google sheet as I was doing? Okay.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Everybody get a copy of Michaela's minutes from the last meeting. Look them over. Did everybody look them over? Get
I
a
make a
motion.
motion to accept the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
I hope they're all right. I did them really late. I was tired. Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes from the last meeting. All those in favor? Any questions from the online squad? They're not even paying attention.
No, nothing here.
I'll sit here.
All right. So, has everybody got the email from Amanda about the update with the meeting with Arnold? We'll let Amanda fill us in on that.
Sure. So I talked to Jason right before I came as well. There's a walkthrough on Wednesday with Claire and Mike, and then the 2 board members from Old Town. So they'll be doing that. Based on what they find, the 4 of them during that walkthrough, will be the deciding factor as to kind of where we go next. Like, do we ask for inspections, or can we just proceed with a quicker closing? Because this is the due diligence period. So this walkthrough is the first step of that. It's been feeling like there's a really positive tone, and there's been communication happening without attorneys, which is a good thing right now. So there's no signs that anything's off track, and it's looking really good. So he said, I don't have a lot to report, which is a good thing. So nothing, no news is good news. Yeah, that's where we're at there.
Any questions on that?
When was that walkthrough, Amanda?
Wednesday. Yep.
Anybody else? Any questions online?
I'll sit here.
The mission statement we tabled last meeting. Everybody get a chance to look it over? And any discussion on it?
I've got a copy printed off.
I sent it to you.
You did, and I appreciate that. I don't do well with Google Docs and all that stuff.
Okay.
I was weak. I was weak in it.
Fair enough.
I still haven't.
So we can retable. That's thoughts, feelings, opinions.
I think as everybody about read it, I mean, I've gone,
That'll look good.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. So I say we get it out of the way.
So we want to, okay,
I make a motion to accept the
mission,
Mission
vision, and
statement.
values.
As written.
as written.
Motion's been moved and seconded to accept the mission statement as written. Any questions?
Can we change,
I'll sit here.
can we change something on there as time goes on? If we find out that something that we don't see, we can just have a board meeting and change something on the mission statement. So
Yeah, this is honestly like just getting it approved so that,
Yeah.
that way it can be our like, okay, and that's
something
on
to
the
work
check
from,
off
working
list. And
document.
yep, absolutely.
You should always revisit your
Yeah.
mission and
Yeah.
vision and stuff
Yeah,
anyways.
well, that was my,
Any other questions? Anything online?
Nothing here.
Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Committee updates.
Victoria is not here for the finance committee update. We haven't had another meeting since. We've got one more company that I'm waiting for information on from payroll. Just kind of playing phone tag with everybody, but everybody else is good. QuickBooks has not been set up yet, but Bill is going to use QuickBooks. That's where we're going to go through. That's another possibility for just strictly payroll. They don't offer a lot of HR services, so we're hoping to use somebody else that does have the HR services involved, since we don't have an HR department in any capacity. But it's also a possibility. So that's where we're at with that.
Did we get any quotes from anybody?
Yep, I've got several from Bangor Payroll, Community Connection, and iSolved. Paychecks is getting me their information as we speak, and then QuickBooks. So we should be able to make a decision on that very quickly.
Could we, you said there's nobody with HR, could we, one of the people that we hired to work over there at the Y could, at PACC, would they, be considered our, or the person that people go to if they
HR director.
Yeah, is that a
Paychecks has an
possibility?
HR department.
Yeah, Paychecks has HR, Bangor Payroll has HR stuff, and I solve. So the thing with like I've always done kind of the HR stuff,
Yeah.
but in the like legal capacity of that and reality of that is that I have none of the like training certificates, anything like that. So if we ended up getting somebody that actually needed some HR support and not having someone with those trainings and certifications, I think we could get in trouble pretty quickly.
So those companies that have like Paychecks and stuff that have HR support, meaning beyond like payroll and benefits kind of stuff, they also do like.
They take care
Yeah,
of your
mission
employee
kind of
handbook. They
things.
take care of everything.
Yep. And there's just nominal fees for like each step of it that you go through. I know iSolved and Bangor Payroll both have an option where you can like upload all the W-4s, 1099s. So you're not keeping any of that on premises and it's all kept separate. So like if the IRS audits, you know, don't end up with a state audit because the IRS saw something in the state. So it's a pretty good system. It's not cheap. It's a couple $100 a month, but figuring out which one does the best for the best price is the important part on it, I think.
And the alternative of hiring a person that has the HR qualifications, it's going to be expensive.
Significantly more than a couple $100 a month.
All right. Fundraising. We need a board member to volunteer to be chair for the fundraising committee 24-day calendar wrap.
And then last night at the meeting, Brandon, who's online. Brandon, you're there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Brandon did say that he would do that. So if the board would be so kind as to make a motion and vote whether Brandon
I
should
make
be.
a motion, Brandon is appointed chairman of the fundraising committee.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Brandon is in. 24 days calendar raffle. We've raised almost $7,000 so far on that. Still having people coming in, and as you know, people ask, I'm like, yeah, we've pulled 5 days, so there's 19 to go. So if anybody wants to get on the raffle, still a thing, but that was significantly more than we thought. We've sold almost 350 tickets.
That's awesome.
Yep, 200 was the goal, so
Good
that
work.
was a great fundraiser. Thank you. Giving Tuesday, we did not end up doing anything. Just didn't have the time and the capacity to really make it happen. And then the plan for January's moving forward will be to send out like an annual letter. We don't have a whole lot of contacts this year, so I'm pulling what I do have, and I am going to send letters and just send out emails and phone calls and text messages to the contact list that I do have, just as like, hey, this is what we're doing. January will be our annual campaign.
So just something to think about, Amanda, where it's gonna be a county facility, would it be worth going to the Piscataquis County towns and getting mailing lists
That's a good idea.
and sending letters out like the fire departments do?
Yep, I didn't even know that was an option. Okay, I will do that. I like that.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but I think
It's worth it.
I absolutely think, I mean, I'm not sure how many people are in Piscataquis County, but
A lot.
if you get $1 from every person,
And we're really tri-county wide, so we can go Somerset and Penobscot.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
But I'm just wondering, to mail them, would we be smart? Because I've done these mailing things before. There is, and I'd have to check with the guy that there's this woman that does these mailings for a fee, and it comes from all this legislative stuff. When like somebody's running for Senate or something, they go to her, and she's local, I guess.
Stacy or Chad might be able to help us with that contact.
And they just spin, and she spins them out. I know Paul Davis was the one that
Okay.
because we were trying to save the town hall in Sangerville, and she just sent them. She did the whole thing, and there was something about sending them in postcard was cheaper to send
Yes.
than a letter.
Postcards are
And envelope.
17 cents to mail, and postcard then mail's like 70 cents.
And it's much easier. You don't have to put them in an envelope, and much less time.
Yep.
Used. So maybe that I'll check with Paul Davis. see if I
Okay,
can-
thank you.
And there should be a way to just send to current resident rather than to send to individual people. So you're sending to everyone at every address, rather than going town by town and getting those lists. You should just be able to send to current resident. I don't know how that works, but this person would. And that would hopefully cut a step out of that whole process.
Okay.
I think it's important though to get the summer residents, because the summer residents use the Y pretty heavily. The PAC used the Y. We'll do it past tense. Use the Y.
We'll use the PACC. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I like that. I can do that. And you're gonna check with Paul. Okay, that was January. February, we are gonna try and do a dance for Valentine's Day, like a family dance, sweetheart dance, something along those lines. Last night, Smokey was here and his wife, and they're gonna reach out to the Commons to see if we can use that facility. And we talked last night about doing the annual gala that we always do. It was agreed last night that we would do Waves of Giving in March, and we really aren't geared up to do it in any capacity this year, but we're going to anyway. So in March, we're trying to get space for the 22nd to do that. I've pulled the old donor lists that I had left over from when dinner dance auction used to happen. I have given that to the fundraising committee to kind of look through, and then I'll be sending it out to everybody as soon as we've got that looked at. So anybody that knows any of those people, we can do the best we can this March, and understanding that it won't be what it is. You can't plan a 1-year event in 2 months, but
Right.
that's okay. So that was that. That's all I have on that one.
Any questions? Milo Rec Department.
Yes, so we talked last week about them combining. I did reach out to the town manager, and I reached out to the girl who is the current rec director there. The town said that where this is there, they just got it approved. They're going to do a 2-year trial. They're very excited to have communication with us about how we can collaborate and do things in the meantime. But for that first 2 years, like, they really just want to keep those two departments together, and they're going to do a separate thing. Super respectful, but it opened the communication there, I think, in a positive way.
Milo and Brownville have joined together and they have put out for a,
That's what we were just talking about. Yes.
right,
Yeah,
Yep, that's-
just the recreation department.
right.
Yep. And that's what I reached out about, being like, hey, what can we do? And they said that they really just want to hire somebody to do that rec director job, that they want to work with us. So we can't have it yet.
Legal, Ben or Victoria?
What about it?
Update?
I looked through the various Google Docs that have been shared. I want to do just a little bit of double checking in terms of waiver language and just trying to see whether or not there may be anything else out there that we want to just kind of throw in there, because obviously it's an opportunity to sort of do a, you know, everything in the kitchen sink type of approach as far as protecting, you know, the organization and the facility and everything else. And the bottom line is, you know, just like I tell people when they ask whether or not, you know, they actually have to deal with all the paperwork for buying a place. Well, no, you don't. But if you want to buy the place, yeah, you do. So same deal. If people want to use it, I think they're probably going to be willing to agree to whatever's, you know, reasonable. And then that way we're just going to kind of eliminate to whatever extent possible the chance that, you know, someone's going to try and test it. So other than that, though, I thought the documents looked pretty good, and I'm guessing, Amanda, those were probably taken from something else that you had either referenced from another facility or something like that. Okay. Yeah, great. That's perfect. So yeah, I didn't have any concerns there, and I think we can probably have finalized versions of those wrapped up here, you know, probably by the next meeting or something.
And I'll keep adding to those as I get the rest of them edited, because there's a million of them, but that's how far I got today.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did not get a chance to look at them when they came across today, but I will, and I will get any comments across, and that'll just be for, you know, for clarity. And I also have some suggestions to make for sort of board policies. So we can tackle that as I get them to Amanda.
Anybody else? Thank you, Ben.
No problem. No problem.
Maine Community Foundation.
Yep. So by the beginning of the week, Maine Community Foundation will have a new account set up for us. So anybody that wants to do year-end donations by either stock or investment will be able to do that right into the Maine Community Foundation. We did talk to Angie Arno about holding donations for us. They're a different kind of 501c, so they can't actually hold our donations. So right now, we don't have a technical way to do that. I did send out donation letters to anybody that sent us money. So they do have a letter that they can use to file their taxes with, and we will have our 501c3 status before anybody actually would need it. So I'm not concerned that we would be doing anything nefarious there. Just the timing is off a little bit, but Maine Community can do anybody that needs to do stocks or investment donations by year end.
Perfect. Questions, concerns? Paying instructors hourly by class. Community Fitness pays by the class, $20 a class. Most classes are 45 to 60 minutes.
So something we always paid hourly before. I talked to Brittany the other day, and she says she likes to just pay by the class. That kind of eliminates when somebody wants to come in super early and prepare, or they end up staying late because they're visiting with their classes. I don't have a strong feeling on it either way. I think we're paying hourly. We pay a little bit less. I think we used to pay our instructor like $16 an hour. Brittany just pays them that $20 kind of flat fee. You're one of our instructors, so maybe you have some thoughts on it.
$20 flat fee would be more. If I was getting, I think I was 15 an hour, and I typically got about an hour a class by the time I clocked in and clocked out.
So that would be you guys' decision and whatever. I don't feel strongly about it either way. I just know those are two
How many
options.
classes?
So it varies.
I guess how many instructors, I guess.
Right now we have 5. Brian has always volunteered to do his class. And then Miss Adrian did 3 aqua classes and then 3 live classes. Michaela did 3 classes. Megan did 3 classes. Lillian does 2 classes. And Camille was teaching 5 to 8 classes a week, but I'll cut her back to probably 3. So 3 to
How
6.
does that work when you have swim instructors?
So whole different thing. Yeah. So yep. That's an hourly rate for the swim instructors, because that can take, and that has a lot of prep time that goes with it. They have to do their lesson plans.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but just the group X classes.
And how does that work for classes with no shows and things like that? Just, you don't get paid?
No, so she just pays kind of like the same thing. Like if you're scheduled for the class, you get paid. And then I've in my monthly calendar, like I have a spotlight class member and staff member for every single month. So hopefully none of that will happen again. I think we just weren't promoting before, so I think our classes are going to be phenomenal now. I feel confident about it, but it is more money, but it's a little bit more motivating for instructors that do want to come, because they're usually there. Like you're there for 3 classes a week. So to get somebody motivated enough to make $15 an hour and show up 3 times a week to teach a class.
$20 for class.
But the whole idea is they're also, we've always worked at that they're benefiting the Y by helping us out by not charging so much. And and a lot of them would stay and only charge the hour, but they'd stay a half hour or more.
So do we have a rough monthly payment, what it would be for these instructors?
So let's see. So it's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and 12, 13, 14, 15. So probably, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 20 classes a week.
So $400 a month, and that's 12 months out of the year.
Well, 20.
How does that work? Are you contract or are you?
That's
I was gonna
cheap.
say, because the hourly piece, I think is kind of a gray area, because if people are coming and staying for 2 hours, we're only paying them for 1, and they're an hourly employee, you're legally bound to pay them for the 2 hours. So
That was gonna be my next question is,
So I don't like that's
are
what.
they a contracted?
Nope. So
instructor?
they're employees, but they're paid like by the class. Like that's how their contract, like that's how their employment is tiered. And I worked at Millside Fitness in Dexter too, and I did the same thing there, and they paid me $25 a class. So, and I just had like a contract that was every class I teach.
But they're not technically an employee.
I think so though. I can double check with Brittany.
Yikes.
Yeah, like did they cut you a W?
Yep.
And stuff like that?
Yep. Yeah. I had to claim it all.
I would think they'd be considered an employee. They're working.
So
they're
it's $400 a week. is that?
Unless we contracted them out.
$400 a week.
Yeah, 20 classes a week.
Yeah.
16
I think the question is also workman's comp and that sort of thing, employee versus contractor.
He's going, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me double check with Brittany on it then, so we can table that
I would
again.
think you'd be better off to have contracts with them, not.
Right,
employees.
and they would
Right.
claim their own,
They would have
Give them-
1099
Yeah,
and
give
all
them the
that.
W-9.
W-9.
Yeah, yeah.
And ideally,
Yeah.
there's gonna be probably
Really
more
good.
classes.
I don't
than
know,
what we
that
have
confuses
now.
me. It's more stuff for my taxes. Yeah, and that's like, yeah, I'm
And
with
then
you
we'll
on
have
that.
more, there's gonna be more classes with the, if we get up and going, we'll have more classes than we've had in the past. That's always been the hope.
And that
So
was
that would
something
be
else
more
I don't
too,
care how
so
I get paid.
as
If
being
I
an
can
employee,
do
one
it.
of the benefits of being an employee was you got your free membership.
Yep.
So that was one of the, like,
That's a benefit.
that was one of the
I love
kickers.
that.
Because like Michaela and Megan went to each other's classes, like they got paid for their
What's
class.
that
but
do
then
to your comp rate?
Say that again?
What does that do to your workers' comp rate?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think that's something we need to check into. I mean, if you got 50 employees,
Mm-hmm.
What if we did like, if we were able to just like subcontract, they could all be,
Well, that would-
so that
that's-
would be,
that would be.
And you could, it
yeah,
just-
they would have their
yep.
own W-9 and, yeah.
As long as they have their own, like, the subcontractor gets gray pretty quick, as long as they have to be able to do their own thing, like, they make their own plan, they make their own everything, and you just subcontract them for this, like, minute of time.
Well, no, like a plowing contract,
Yeah, yeah,
same thing.
Yep.
Provide a W-9 and.
off we go. Okay, I'll check with her again, because I don't know, those
Yeah,
are good questions.
I think that's
Because
something-
I think they're her employees, and she just pays them $20 a class, like, I just think it's a different pay structure, but that's where my brain.
I mean, I'm fine with $20 a class or whatever. I think it's very cheap. I just think we need to be careful
Okay,
whether or not we say they're an employee or.
oh, yeah, agreed,
I mean, if
agreed.
it's common I don't want to like throw anybody under a bus.
No bus hop, go.
No, I just mean like if she's just doing this and hadn't really looked into whether or not it was a legal thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. She
You know,
has a
I don't
board
want
over
to
there
get
too,
her in a
so.
position to, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I have a thing about like DOL laws and stuff.
Nope,
Sure,
that's
all you
fair.
Business owners do too, so,
Oh, yeah,
you know.
we have all employees, because we tried to do the subcontractor thing, but we tell them what to do too much, so we can't.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Steph? Okay, I will reconvene, yes.
You probably know this already, but there are new laws starting this year about paid leave.
Family medical leave.
Family medical leave.
Family medical issues.
Yeah, I think we just want to
Yeah.
have a place to check into
You have to be
that.
aware of.
Yeah, that's another.
The benefits are not starting now, but the pay-in required 50/50
I was
split
eyeballing
That
is
is,
starting in the first of the year.
okay.
this is my touch.
Anything else? Do we want to table that? Or do we can vote on the pay? I mean, that's,
I can get more information.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
fine with
table
that.
the whole thing,
Yeah.
and just get more.
I'm glad we brought it up, 'cause that's good conversation.
benefits, health, vacation, retirement.
So that's really just for my benefit, and if we end up having another full-time person,
You're not
Um,
volunteering?
I am right now. I'm doing a good job. So, and I don't know how that works with a small company either. Like, we don't offer benefits to our employees at my company in Dexter, because it's not feasible to do so. So I don't know what the options are. You guys are way
It's
more,
expensive as hell.
yeah. And I don't know if there's an opportunity. I would love to have health insurance, because I don't have health insurance through either of our companies. But if not, then that's like, it's not.
We
a
pay
deal breaker.
$970 a month per employee for health insurance.
Per employee.
Per employee.
So much.
Could we add to her pay so that she could go get like, or whatever they call, it used to be called Obamacare or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
to get her own.
Through the marketplace.
What's
Through the marketplace.
numbers? I can't remember them anymore. Like employee, number of employees. You have to
Yeah,
be.
there's different levels. I think it's 9. If you're under 9,
And then we'd have a
You
maximum
don't-
of
no,
two
if you're
full-time.
under 5
3 would be,
full-timers, you don't need
You don't
to.
need to, okay.
yeah, and we don't
She
have,
would like to have help.
I would love to, but
Something that we can.
if it's also $900 a week, I'm
I mean,
I'm
it's-
good. I'd rather you just
something
pay
we
me
definitely
$900 a week.
Look into and, I mean, I have no idea what the budget looks like or anything like that.
Yep. So I can talk to Bill about that too and see if there's,
Yeah, and Billy may have another option or.
okay. Cause I don't know. But
That's
putting one
something to be
person
able
on
to
it.
look into. I think that's something that needs to be an ongoing conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got so many
It is
business owners here.
important.
I'll tell you, as a business owner, to keep good employees, you gotta take care of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it costs.
Well, so you employ her through your business
That's a good
and
idea.
put her on
a
there,
good
and then
idea.
you donate her back to us.
Yeah.
And we're not, hey, this is a good one. This is a non-profit. Hey, we're a
This is right.
non-profit. So you get a non-profit takeoff on your taxes because you're offering an employee to us. It's a
I'm not sure
win-win.
my accountant would go for that. I'm not sure I could pull
It's a
that.
good
off.
idea.
Good idea.
Great idea.
We could be the Harris Lumber Community Center. Is that what just happened?
I think it's worth shopping. I
Okay.
really do, because I mean, if we're gonna give her more pay so she can get insurance, we might as well pay her insurance.
Yes.
That's my theory on it.
And I'd like to earn vacation time, not
Sure.
for taking it, but
Mandatory, you have to.
Whoever does the research and gets some numbers, run them by the finance committee. We can put them in the budget and talk about it in committee too.
okay. And we're meeting on the 10th, right? I think.
Think?
I think. Okay, that's fair. Okay, tabled, working on it.
Retirement's mandatory for full-time employee,
After 2 years, right?
and they just changed that,
Oh, did they?
I think.
Okay, see, I'm not
I would
up on
check
my,
into it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they just changed it, any full-time employee.
okay.
I know I'm waiting to be hungry enough because Brady needs soup, so I did that first.
Okay.
Very good.
Vacation, I think, I mean, my personal opinion, I think you give her 2 weeks to start. And she has volunteered a
Give her 2 weeks off.
vacation to start. and
Yeah.
Then we start taking it away.
$2.50 an hour.
It's fair, I'll take it.
I guess, Amanda, do you want to be hourly or do you want to be salary?
I'd like to be salary. I think I have to talk to Bill about it. I am, as a human being, I like to work about 60 hours a week. Like that's just who I am. Working less than that, I get bored very quickly and I disappear. And more than that is obviously too much, but that's my general. And so I've worked out like the hourly pay with that and then the overtime that comes with that extra 20 hours. And it doesn't make sense. So I'm comfortable with salary.
Do you have a number in your head?
I asked for 60 originally. I'd be super happy there. If you give me 300, like I would also be happy that. So, I'm just saying.
So let's vote. I make a motion.
And so I've thrown that out to Bill too, like what makes the most sense there. 'Cause
And I think we need to hear from the finance committee before we
Yep.
make any decisions on that to see where we stand.
Yep, I think that's fine. Once we get all the numbers together, I think it'll be, you guys will make all the vote on that. As long as I'm comfortable, like I'm fine, I'm happy. I know my value and I understand that this is a nonprofit organization and I will never be paid for my work, and that's okay. It's good for the soul.
Anybody else? All right, the wellness living update.
Yep, so started onboarding on that last week. Today put a lot of the programs and stuff online with it. It's looking like it's gonna be pretty slick, pretty easy. I met with them today to start building the app. So everyone will have an app on their phone that is the Piscataquis Area Community Center. You click on that, you can see everything we've got running. You can sign up to go to the fitness center. You can sign up to go swim in the pool. You can sign up to go to T-ball. You can sign up for a whole session of things. You can sign up for memberships. It's looking better than I even thought it was going to. So that's a win. I meet with merchant processing on Monday and then the 24-hour access people the following Monday. So all that's in motion and it's going well.
Childcare lease.
So far I've only talked with Brandon's wife, Carrie. She just had a baby on last Tuesday. So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats, Brandon and the wife.
He's very cute.
Thank you very much.
Not Brandon, the baby.
Remember, she's looking for pay, Brandon.
So yeah, I talked with Carrie, sent her kind of a like, this is what I know. She's done in-home daycare up until now. So the licensors called me and been like, hey, some lady called me. So I know Carrie's been in contact with the licensor. We may have some negotiating to do on it. The licensor said like with our square footage for just the childcare room, I think she can be licensed for like 14. So depending on what Carrie wants to do, because we were licensed for 49, but it included that
I've
room.
been through this, so.
Yeah, so it included all the spaces. And so our licenser's she's pretty awesome and easy to talk with. So if during childcare hours, like we have to make sure there's nothing scheduled in one of the courts so that they have that square footage and like that's all doable. But figuring out what Carrie wants as the person on that side of the lease and then what we're able to do.
Is she looking to have a center or just a daycare?
So it'll be a center because it has to be a center just the way it's set up and built. And everything's in place for it. I made sure last year when I took over, it was to the letter. So it's ready to roll and ready to go. It's just a matter of like how many kids, and then if we want kids coming in and out of the main entrance, or do we, fix the parking lot out by the dumpster so that can be childcare parking and they can just come in and out of the childcare room. Like those are just logistics that we can kind of work through, but it still makes way more sense than me trying to do that ever again.
Are there things like how they used to go into the pool or they go into, are those things going to be considered or no?
Yep. So when talking with Carrie, I don't think she has a whole lot of interest in the pool anyway. And then if she did, like she could just do like a rental and we could, and if it turns into something she wants to do regularly, then I think it makes sense to just make that make sense. When I was running it, we did on Mondays, the kids had like their own time for swim. On Tuesdays, we brought the kids in and we did lessons. And then on Fridays, they went in and swam with the community free open swim. So there's opportunities there, I think. And if she doesn't want it like regularly, I'm happy to do it by like, hey, we want to go in once this week. Like here's $25, covers a lifeguard. And
We could also like do swim lessons and let the parents, if they want the kid to do swim lessons, that's an extra fee they charge, that we charge.
Yep, we did that last year too, and I talked with her a little bit about that, like so signing kids in and out of the program. So whether it's swim lessons or Lego club or flag football or archery, we would like go get the kids, sign them out of childcare, bring them to whatever program their parents had paid for and sign them up for. If mom and dad were not back yet, we'd sign them out of that program, sign them back into childcare until mom and dad got there to pick them up. So yeah, it was a huge benefit for the childcare parents.
I think it's real important for the kids to come through the front door and go by the desk, because there's a lot of camaraderie between the people sitting at the desk and those kids. And I mean, there was a lot of socialization there. Maybe that's not a problem to do that, but.
And we can, but at the same time, like it would also be nice to separate them, like even like put a wall. Because like it's a lot, and some of the members don't love that. And especially if, they're going to be there all day long. Because before it was just after school and in the summer, like that was they're like, why are the kids in the pool? Why are the kids in the studio? Why are the kids in the court? Well, because they're here and this is their place in the summer. So I think it could go either way with that. And I don't have strong feelings either direction, but I think members might. So I don't care either way. If we make it a total separate thing, cool. And if we don't.
As a nonprofit leasing space, do we have to put this out, or is this like we get to pick?
I don't know the answer to that. I picked my board. I picked everything.
I just
picked the price.
Well, hasn't somebody come in and say, "Hey, how come I didn't know this was an option or an opportunity?"
And I don't. Well, I mean, we haven't really posted like a lot of jobs and stuff either, so I don't know if I don't know the answer to that.
And my other question was, when we were talking memberships, you had mentioned one of the options, including childcare.
Child watch.
Child watch.
Yep. So that would be staffed by like our club, like our youth coaches.
Okay.
So like the child watch would be more like down in the, like where we put the Legos and the Barbies and stuff in there. So that would be more of the child watch thing. So we would just have somebody, right now we have a staff on from like 3 to 4 for a club, 4 to 5 for a club, 5 to 6 for a club. So any of those, like they could just be child watch. And if parents want to go to the fitness classes and are not part of child watch, they would just pay for those clubs. They could still send their kids in there.
Sure.
Yes.
I think from a public health point of view, of all the good things you're going to be doing in the building and on the ground, the one that stands out as far as being life-saving, saving lives, is teaching swimming. And personally, speaking for someone with a strong public health outlook, I would encourage you to try to do anything reasonable to encourage parents and kids to learn to swim. Because in the 45 years I've been here, time after time after time, every spring, there's stories of people who get out in their canoe fishing without a life jacket and they can't swim. That's the end of it. So I think you really have a chance to save lives by training kids.
Absolutely.
I love that. That was one of the conversations last night at the finance meeting. Sorry, the fundraising meeting. One of the girls, Lindsay Sands, who just joined, she does some stuff at the school and she's got Girl Scouts that she hangs out with. And she offered for her racing group that she owns to pay to have the kids do swim lessons here at the public beach, like the Dexter Development Association did in Dexter. We had 60 kids go through that program in Dexter this summer, and it was free. The Dexter Development Association paid for all of it. So she runs the main racing foundation, and so she's volunteered to pay for that here in Dover if we can make it happen. So free swim lessons at the public beach this summer.
Was it the JCC? Who used
Did
to-
anyone, sorry, Amanda, did you happen to mention to her about potentially putting us down as one of the, benefactors of the proceeds from the actual event this winter?
Yes, yep, she was talked to about that, and she says she's just bringing it to her group, and they're going to vote on it. Last year they split it between two organizations. They had about $30,000 that they split. So yes, we are on the list.
Great.
Amanda, what is the time frame for the childcare starting? Would they start February 1st, or is that would that be in the work?
I would hope so. So I think my goal, as long as Carrie's ready, would be to get her in there right when we can open up, whether it takes her a couple of weeks to get her space, because I don't know if we're going to be allowed in. That's the biggest, if we can close and not get in until February 1st, we can open the fitness center pretty quickly, and we can do a lot of things while that's running. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get the rest of it up and going, but I'm really hoping that she'll come right in when we open up and get going.
How much money will we get? What is the charge? What is the rate that we charge? Depending on how many kids she can have in there. Is that how you figure that out?
So it's usually by square footage, not by kids. So that's another we have to kind of work out, by the state and what works for her. So if she can have 5 kids and not 30 kids, that changes her income a lot there too. Brittany has over in her space, she gets $2,000 a month. She has a little fenced-in yard and a room that's just about the size of ours. In the budget, Bill had put in, so the first 3 months is I think $1,500, and then it goes up to $1,600 and then $1,700, and I think it ends up staying at $1,800 for the following year with doing a 1-year contract, making sure it works out for both parties, and then after that, as long as it's worked out, do a 3-year contract after that.
I think that's a good plan.
Makes sense.
It's a lot more than $8 that.
And in the reality, after my time,
Insurance wise, how's that going to affect this
so we have to insure the facility, but we don't have to have the child care
part of it?
portion of it. That will be her responsibility. But we would, we'd be in charge still of all of the utilities and stuff. Because it wouldn't even make sense to try and split that. So the utilities would all be included as part of her. And then the facility itself, we would have that insurance. But as far as liability, that would be her side of it.
Anything else on childcare? Printer company.
Yep. So ended up going with, hang on, where's my folder? I had it right here. How did I do with it? Oh, it's right there. Ended up going with the, what were they called? It's not on the front page.
I didn't print that one off. I can't remember what the name was. That was the South Portland one, right?
Yep, there was the guy out of South Portland. So the pricing difference was astronomical. I sent it over to finance. We looked at it. The main document solutions which is what we currently have. The annual expense for that was $6,400. Transco, if we ended up going with them, it would have been $7,700, and we still would have had to pay out the lease possibly on our old one. Connected Office Technologies is the one we went with, and it's going to be $4,600 a year. And they will, if we end up with that lease, they'll buy out our lease, and so they would just tack an extra $30 a month on with no interest, no fees, but they would pay off our lease. So we would just have that. It's nonprofit pricing. It's a refurb printer. They have a 4-hour response time with any technical issues. Unlimited color, unlimited black and white. We have to supply the paper. That's it. And it includes the big printer, and then a small one like this for the front desk. That's just black and white. So like the price difference was astronomical. So he's good to go. And he said that if we want and we decide, they can come and set stuff up at a second location while we're waiting for them. I told him I didn't think that was necessary because we're kind of just making it work here. But he's like, no, and then we can move it and set it up for you at another place. And they were really wonderful to talk to and work with. So
Perfect.
yeah, I think that'll go well.
Why would we be responsible for a lease that Old Town Orono has on the printer that's over there now?
Because it's tied to the facility, and it's when we get the endowment, like, I don't know, when the endowment
just
comes back.
questioning.
And then I'm also wondering, so Michelle Tuttle brought up to me, like, do we have a lease on some of that fitness equipment still? Like, I don't know. So if we
I
have that,
believe
like, do they
that's all
take
paid
that?
off.
That's a good
But
There
we
were
were
two-
told a lot of things.
But there were 2 new pieces that came in the year I came in, and if those were leased, there's no way that those would be.
They were purchased. They were supposed to have been purchased. They came in that we waited and waited and waited for them. And Deb had ordered them along with a bunch of people from the a Y organization. That was the whole idea, that we could get better pricing.
And
Who
I would think
knows?
that. And I think either way, I mean, if they pay off the lease, they're gonna bill us for it. Like, that'll be part of their like reasonable expenses that they're getting back. And
I think that, Ben might be able to answer that, but I think that could be argued a little bit.
I think it can all be argued.
I think they've been throwing a lot of stuff, right? Don't they want us to pay the heating bill and the electrical bill and?
Reasonable expenses is what they were asking for in the transaction. I don't know exactly what that means. I think that's more of a Claire and Mike question probably, because I've been just kind of staying like, you guys deal with that part of it and let me know like if I need to do things. I'm like, my husband plowed the driveway the other day, so like if they try and bill us for that, obviously like
Right.
they shouldn't. So just kind of curious to see what they throw out.
Glad I'm not part of that.
But yeah, no, and I don't want to be either. Like, I've got so much stuff going on here, so I just am like, okay, if you're handling that, like, let me know if I need to do something.
Should be Brian and.
You can go wrestle him.
Any other? Paint donation from where?
Yep. So I was talking to Jason about needing expenses up front, and I was like, probably honestly one of our biggest expenses. Like, I'm gonna need several $1,000s in paint. Like, the facility just needs it. And he said, just go to our butler, let them know that you're there for the PACC, and he will cover all the paint
You have any
expense.
colors?
Yep.
Because I just switched paint distributors and I have gallons of paint, but I can't mix it.
Interesting.
I do have some white,
Okay.
but I mean, to save them from donating it, not taking away from
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's
Well,
in my basement.
yeah, that'd be
I just
super helpful,
donated
too.
4 truckloads to the art class at school. So.
Yeah, because we'll need a bunch of white stuff too, because like all the ceilings, like they just need to be redone. And if you
Yeah.
can't afford to replace some of the panels, like they do just need to be, they're $7 a piece for those square panels.
I have coloring. You can hand mix it or whatever. I suppose we could trick the computer.
Doing something, but yeah, no, that'd be fantastic. So
Yeah, I mean, get with Jason, come over and see
Okay.
what you want. And
I think between the 2 places, then we're going to be all set with
Yeah.
paint. So that's exciting because it's going to make a huge
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
Huge difference there. So that's a good day. And then the other thing, I looked into the one that you guys said they use for hockey for the team.
Oh, the app.
Yeah. So that one is like $2,700 a year to use. It's a pretty big. So I found the Dexter Rec Department is using Team Reach. It's completely free. Kind of does the same thing. Like, you can add all your parents, you can see who's in the group, you can send messages, you can put calendars, schedules in there. So I think we'll try that when we get into the programming, if the program itself doesn't do it. But yeah, that was really expensive because it was cool. Because you can broadcast the games and everything on there if you want to, and it can get pretty deep, but it was very expensive.
Next meeting.
So I schedule all the meetings out, right, wrong, or indifferent, for every other week for now. And I ended up putting all of the committees on that same schedule. So every single committee starting in January will be meeting every other week at different times, if that works for you guys.
Works for me.
And obviously, once we get things simmer down a little, that won't be necessary, but
It's gonna get dicey for me towards the end of the month, just because I'm on baby watch for my new nephew.
very nice.
So I may or may not
Very
be able to
nice.
be here, but we'll type in.
You can zoom in.
You can always zoom in.
from Mayo.
And actually, I'm not even gonna lie. So next Thursday that we're supposed to meet would be the 19th, and it's the holiday party on ice at the ice arena. So
I can't do it the 19th. So I can't make this Friday.
okay, so you can't do the
I'll be in
19th
Fort
either.
Lauderdale.
All right. So what works? Is there
Why don't we
anything that
put the
works?
next one off until January after the holidays and let everybody.
Okay.
That
That will be
being
gone.
said, though, like if we do get in and we have the opportunity to paint or do something different, I mean,
Yeah.
reach out and
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, we can email and stuff too if we've got thoughts, and if I have
We have
questions,
a
I can.
painting set.
I love it. Paint and plug.
Well, we'll have to disguise her if it's before we.
Yeah, I can't go in. You guys can all
We'll
go
have to
in, but I
disguise
can't go
her.
in.
We'll give her a
can't
good
go
job. Yeah, there we
Uh,
go.
She's been,
I don't know.
she's been banned.
I've been
She's been
banned. Amanda Stewart is not allowed in the property or on the
By
property
who?
until after the closing. I don't know the answer to
This
that.
is a thanks to Andy.
I'm
Really
gonna
don't
find
know.
out.
It's from Andy.
Yeah, I'm not allowed.
That's from Andy.
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
just
Oh,
me
yeah, 'cause-
and Jason. We're the only two. We're not
I'm not
allowed.
banned.
You're not banned. Not
That's
that I know
surprising.
of. Sooner than later.
who did you say who was doing the walkthrough?
Yeah, so Claire and Mike, who were they're in like the mediation group,
Yep.
and then the two representatives that were, I can't remember their names. I can pull them up again. There was in the board minutes. For
Jim
the two,
Wright and
Wednesday.
Yes.
somebody.
so those two, and then, so I'm hoping that Claire and Mike will do a video for us, and they're supposed to be kind of doing a little bit of an asset list. Because the other day I got a phone call from the lady who lives across the street, Danielle, that works there, and she's like, they're over there with like a truck again, like hauling stuff out. And then Will, the maintenance guy, drove by. He's like, Andrew and his friends are at the Y. They're hauling stuff out. And I'm like, all right. So I went over and pulled into PQ, and they had all the floor hockey stuff in the back of the truck and the water polo nets. And so Jason called the attorneys, and they said they were taking stuff out that was for Foxcroft Academy swim team. And I'm like, that wasn't their floor hockey stuff or water polo nets. So
Foxcroft Academy Swimming hasn't been at the Y in how long?
years. So I don't know what the,
It's
and I don't know if Andrew's doing things he's not supposed to be doing either. Like, I don't know if it was, because I only saw him up there, so I don't know if it was the initiative of, or I have no idea.
And then what about the stuff that was moved to storage?
That's all. I have that.
It's still in storage.
Yeah, it's in Ripley.
Okay.
Yep. Frank Suzuko gave me a tractor trailer truck to put all my stuff in. So, yep, we got all that stuff that was.
Do they know that that stuff exists? Do they want us?
That's all my stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
you- oh,
like
okay.
legit. Like, I didn't take anything that I wasn't supposed to take out of there. I left stuff that I should have taken.
Shame on you.
I know, honestly, because it was all things like I, went on Facebook Marketplace and drove all over the state to get for free, and things from our house and stuff that Travis, like, he bought the childcare freezer because I didn't have a freezer. Like, just, I'm like, nope, we're taking it. Like, they're not. So I do have all that stuff, but it's all legit.
And I guess what grounds do they feel like they have to be able to take whatever they want out of the building?
And I don't think they do. I think that was part of the agreement, was that they wouldn't.
Right.
That's what we were
So
told.
I don't know if the board is not communicating with whoever's doing it, and I don't know if Andrew had any, like, anyone knew Andrew was doing it. The only reason I knew is because I got phone calls from several people immediately, which I always do. If somebody pulls in the parking lot and looks weird, they're like, "Oh, somebody's at the building." So, but thank goodness, like, the community's
Is
looking
there
out.
something in place saying that nothing's supposed to be removed until?
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of the attorney
I think
agreement.
we need
So.
to call them out on it. I mean,
Yep,
I don't
and
think
they
I
are.
want you
They
to-
called the attorney immediately. So, yep. So it's been discussed.
You see, that's what worries me is it seems like there's their CEO down there doesn't know what their board is discussing or doing, and the board doesn't know what the CEO is doing.
Or doesn't care.
There's
That's how
problem
the
there.
line
Yeah, we'll see,
operates.
yeah.
That's why it's a good thing we're not.
Hold on,
part of the
yours is
Yes.
being recorded, so.
That's okay.
The meeting and then we'll.
Okay, I'd say everything's done now.
It is, but it's been, communication's been the issue right along, like, even while we were still there. That's been the problem. Obviously, I mean, we didn't know they were getting shut down. I ran the branch. So
Did we get our heat question figured out?
So it's supposed to, yeah, the heat's supposed to be on, the water's supposed to be good, everything is supposed to be, is part of the agreement that they will take care of it, and then they will bill us back reasonable expenses.
Has anyone verified that it's actually?
I think Wednesday we'll find out.
Just 'cause it's gonna be cold this weekend.
Yes, it's gonna be super cold this
and
weekend.
the only reason it's there is
So,
because-
Just going back to the schedule then, if we're gonna re-meet in January, do we have set dates for that then?
So I just have us, if we go back on, so we just would skip a meeting, and January 2nd would be our next, like, regularly scheduled programming meeting. Everybody wants to try for that.
Is that Thursday?
Same
Yep.
time.
Yep, I put them on Thursdays at 6:30 every other week for now.
Can I zoom in with my phone?
Yep, so if you should have been invited to the calendar, so right in the calendar, like, link, you can just click join.
New Year's Day, and I can New
Join
Year's
with Google
Day, and I
from
can show
Brazil.
you all the different
You can show us what
bands
Brazil
that are
looks
playing
like.
on the beach.
Hey, Mike, I feel good.
head might hurt New Year's Day.
I know mine's
It'll be
gonna,
the day after.
Yeah, no, he won't do it New Year's Day.
Oh, New Year's, oh.
so I can show you all the stuff.
I'll be
Any,
here all
any
day.
questions, concerns, comments?
What did we decide on, going to Morton?
Yep.
Or one of those to use,
So it's,
you was
it's,
gonna talk with somebody to
yep,
see
and
about.
it's honestly, like,
classes?
it's an opportunity and it's a thing, but all of our instructors are just kind of doing their thing in their places where they're at.
Okay,
And
so we're
they're,
just gonna hold on that.
yep,
till
just
this- okay,
holding
I
right
just
now
wondered
until
what-
something's not working somewhere, but I think everybody's pretty comfortable.
Is the aquatics committee meeting
I've got
not
those
yet.
set to start in January.
on that calendar?
Anybody online got anything?
Amanda, do you want to talk about social media tonight?
Oh, yeah, sure. Do you ever have a minute to do that? Okay. Yep, go.
Did you get that email I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you want me to just read that? Because that was kind of like summarizes everything. I'll just read it. If it makes it. So, I've been working on developing a structured social media outreach strategy for the PAC that pairs a website blog post with targeted social media content. The blog would cover a variety of topics. It'd be like a newsletter, announcements, interviews, and other engaging content designed to inform and connect with our audience. The goal is to ensure all committees and the administration have equal opportunities to share their messages while strategically engaging with the entire community. To achieve this, specific days of the week would be assigned to different groups. For example, Mondays would focus on general outreach to share updates or news. Tuesdays might be dedicated to the fundraising committee to promote upcoming fundraisers. Other days would highlight the work of different committees or admin, ensuring that each group has its own spotlight, avoiding overlap and maintaining clarity for our audience. Additionally, we will have the ability to schedule posts in advance, alleviating the headache of racing to get something out at the last minute. With the aid of AI resources, content creation, and the brainstorming that accompanies it become almost effortless, allowing us to focus on delivering consistent and impactful messaging. It is important to note that this is not blind marketing or random outreach. Social media, especially platforms like Facebook, offer powerful tools to help us understand and engage with our audience effectively. Using tools like Facebook Analytics and the Metapixel, which is a programming thing, we can collect valuable data about who interacts with our content online. Since we serve a multitude of surrounding towns, this data can help us gauge where our presence is strongest and identify areas where we should have where we should invest more attention. For instance, we can track trends such as what types of posts generate the most engagement, which events resonate with specific communities, and which demographics are most involved with our activities. The Metapixel is particularly useful. It's a small piece of code placed on a website. So when the website is up and running, this would sit in the background on that. It allows you to track visitor interactions and actions and measure the effectiveness of our outreach. This means we can create targeted campaigns that guide people towards specific goals, such as signing up for new memberships, attending specific events, or providing community feedback or outreach. These data-driven insights help us tailor our efforts to meet the needs and interests of our audience, ensuring that every post has a purpose and impact. By combining this strategic approach with consistent and equitable posting schedules for each committee and the admin, we can maximize exposure, enhance community engagement, and drive meaningful outcomes for PAC.
So Brandon, on that, so you talked about like having the kind of like the tie back to the blog on the website. So would it just be the content kind of matches the blog post?
So so just because it's easier for me to explain. So like for Travis, right? The landscape supply stuff.
Mhm.
We did a blog post. Blog is a functional term. It's like a newspaper essentially. So we did a post. We didn't really have anything to sell, so it's kind of like a community engagement thing. So it's like the best winter tools for the best jobs or whatever. And it was a long form post that went into detail about how snow rakes work and what to look for or stuff like that. The social media post it's a lot more concise, and it just accompanied that blog post. So it summarized it and kind of bullet pointed it and talked about it. And the call to action at the bottom, it was engagement based. So we weren't looking for like a call to action. It was, comment below to what winter tool you've had the most success with or something. It was kind of just getting it out there, but the social media feeds from the content we create for the blog. So like the swimming stuff, for that we would have a long form newsletter about it, like the swim lessons at the beach, if you will. So the blog post will have all of the information that anybody would need. And then the social media stuff is more flashy. So it's meant to get attention. And the button at the bottom of the social media post, or the social media post itself, will direct people back to the blog where they can get all of the information they need. Because nobody on social media, it's all about, you have seconds, not minutes. So if you can get somebody's attention with seconds and then drag them back to the website for them to read the blog article, then they're fully educated. And then that metapixel comes in, because that will sit on the website, and that basically acts as a gatekeeper. So if somebody goes from Facebook to a blog article, we'll know who it was and when they did it. And then we can,
like, what posts are getting the most traction on that. So what quality of content is.
Oh, it's like scary. There's heat maps. So like that person, if they go to that blog post and then they go somewhere else on the website, we'll be able to follow them around and know what they clicked on. But what it benefits is like retargeting. So if we really wanted to push swim lessons, we could throw just a little bit of money at Facebook, $5. And if somebody were to visit that blog post and then they were to go on Google or something and do something else, that metapixel will follow them around the internet, and it'll place ads in front of them. So like, I don't know if you've ever done it before, like say you Googled boats or something like that, and then you're on just some random website and you see a bunch of ads for boats.
Posters everywhere.
So that's kind of what this allows us to do, except it's a lot more small scale, and it's geo-fenced to the specific area. So like, we wouldn't want to spend money marketing to somebody in Massachusetts, but I would spend, $5 trying to convert a lead in St. Albans or something like that. So we'd be able to narrow the scope, be more efficient, be more effective, and kind of push people where we need them to go.
It's awesome. Thanks for being such a cool nerd.
Yeah, this is my Super Bowl. This is my fun
That's
stuff.
that we can all do. Anybody that has social media, and if you have friends, so if you just
I don't want swim lessons on my social.
Oh, no. Well, you can, but if you go to, like, if you're in your social media and you just go to the PACC page and you hit invite friends, and you just invite all of your friends, even if they don't do anything other than like the page, it helps get the page like bumped up.
Yeah.
And so the more people that like it, and then if they like a post or share a post, it helps that algorithm. So we're getting out there and getting shared more. So Brandon's stuff will track even.
And I have a very aggressive outlook on what I'd like to do. Like so much so as we have I think it was 13, 16 or 24 towns that we were
25.
So all of those towns have community pages. Like Dover has their own little Facebook page. Milo has theirs. Brownville has theirs. They all have rules and stuff. And I'm familiar with the ones around here. The biggest rule is like no, like once a week kind of deal. So it would be posting in not only to our page, but also going out and posting to all of these town pages too, to get in front of as many people as possible. And that kind of goes back to the metric side. So if we're posting in all of these surrounding towns, we'll be able to see which towns are responding the most. So if you have a huge response in Milo, then maybe we don't want to, we can focus on trying to bring Brownville up, or we can focus elsewhere, and it'll really help guide us as to where to try to get our marketing in front of new people.
Okay. I love that. He's me. I did hire him. He works. That's my soul.
Anything else?
I feel good.
Well done, Brandon.
Thank you.
Amanda, today I did send you an email in regards to.
Yes, Joan, I saw your email. I don't know the answer to that, but I think I need to have a conversation with you before I know the answer to that.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just connect this week.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Anybody else online?
All set here.
Anybody else here? Motion to adjourn? Second. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you guys online for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Anybody to check.
Floorboard. Were you